And it's up tabs there, but I can't remember what order they're in, anything. Probably just close them, so I. Thanks.
Open a clean screen.
Get right in there.
So I know where to, I'm looking at when I go to. Look at it.
Shelby, say something.
Way to make good impressions.
Yeah.
Cameras.
Since last one went overtime, we're gonna cut this in half.
Oh, okay.
Great idea.
See what you can do. Boss man.
So you see, I should have went to state track.
Yeah, Greener, you're gonna have to, we're gonna have to cut you off right now.
Oh.
What? If you want, if you want through one. Get an extra
For order, I don't see much.
Like giant, it's like last.
You got changed.
I give you 4 minutes.
Yeah,
It would have been some
yeah. Like two.
I don't know.
There's two schools. There's a,
Green up JD. Like you did with the.
I didn't see, I can,
Dad went around.
Tonight?
3-1, he said,
okay.
last night.
Done that, but last
Playing, supposed to solve for Brian tonight, I think.
Yeah.
South of Brian. Try to keep those, try to keep those games close while school's in session.
Last time was done last.
What?
I know last time was done that.
Same to the
Watch.
It's all right. It's not like that semester test read.
Mike gets in and so.
It's been a couple years since I've been doing stuff, but I think I can do it. I think I still probably, we're gonna do a little bit of that. Give you online. This. He's a little bit of that. What to talk about? Nobody come to it.
You're done.
Call me, talk to me.
Okay, I'll tell him. You said.
I'd be happy to. Happy to help them.
Like he says, 2 exams. Or, I think you're in.
I'm happy. They probably got about a good term in the final, but.
Ready? Alright, the meeting is called to order at 7 p.m. Ashley, roll call, please.
Right, Director Lee,
Here.
Director Bird,
Here.
Director Clayton,
Here.
Director Greeter,
Here.
Director China.
Here.
Next motion to approve the agenda.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
I didn't hear who first and second that was.
Dan said, Dan was motion.
Dan said,
We'll do that when Justin gets up.
All right, looks like we're good on the open forum. Discussion and public input on fiscal year 2026 and then budget.
So, we'll need a roll call vote to go in to the hearing. Somehow I went fully out of mine. I'm back in civil.
we need to do a roll call vote if you want to do the public hearing.
Yeah.
So we, All right. Director Lee,
Here.
Director Berg,
Here.
Director Clayton,
Here.
Director Greer,
Here,
Director Steinoff.
Here.
Okay. Approval of the agenda.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, hearing agenda.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Okay, everybody have that document, the notice of public hearing that I have in there for you. Very simply, what we're doing for this year's budget, we are increasing two categories, total support services. We're gonna add $150,000 to that. For the reason being increase in support salaries for that one. And then we are going to put another 2 million of authority, again, not cash, just authority, into total other expenses. When we were doing the budget, we didn't know we'd be doing that same project of that magnitude. So that would put us up to almost 5 million of authority in there and cover us so we do not go over budget on that. Again, no cash involved. This is all cash that we already have. It's just telling the state that we have the authority to do that and telling the public in the hearing.
And that's in the save bond?
Yes, that was the total other expenditures line. So that brings our total budget for this year up to $15,895,738 that we have authority to spend for everything in the school district. Any other questions? We didn't have any write-in questions or any other communication questions, so that is good, and we can have someone adjourn the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, let's go into old business. The consent agenda.
Here we have the consent agenda. You may have noticed the summary that I have in there from Melissa, and that is for the current negative balances that are in the activity fund. Not that the activity, all the activities are negative, it's just certain ones in there. She does a great job of talking with those line items that don't have money for this or that. And, you know, esports went to state, and so they paid for their own state, so they'll have to recoup that. But everybody will be positive is her goal by the end of June.
Where's that at on this? You got it on a piece of paper? In the consent agenda?
The AF balance report, activity fund balance report.
Okay. You see it on here?
And
Yeah, under the consent
Go
agenda.
to click on that consent agenda.
Okay, there you
So they got
go.
boys basketball, $11 in,
Esports, boys basketball,
Cheerleaders.
Oh, it's
Girls
down,
golf,
it's
maybe?
down, it's down lower, it's down.
cheer.
And there are some things, like I know football cheerleaders have sold all their fundraisers, so their balance should be at zero.
Yeah, once we get May cash receipts, they should be.
Good.
This is just for April.
So where's that money come from if they're short then?
They have to fundraise.
You know, but if they write a check for a dozen hot dog buns and there ain't no money in there to pay that, where does the money come from to pay that, so they can pay back, huh? Back to,
Yeah.
And they do they work concessions and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The activity fund is a huge fund with 50 some line items. So,
Yeah.
so if they go over and they're buying something to sell to get them over, then they're actually taking from another line item in there to get their balance up. But we track each one, so they will all be in the positive. Because altogether, the student activity fund has $52,000 in it.
A lot of money.
there you go, thank you. So what's that, the activity fund then, it's all, I see all this, but how, when they raise money, say in a basketball game, it just goes to the basketball fund, but they don't go in this whole big ball, all these fund, well, this does it.
Well, you're saying like if they have a fundraiser, let's say the football cheerleaders, because they've been selling
Yeah,
rocks.
okay,
And so it comes out of their account to buy the bras, they sell the bras, and then the proceeds go in their account.
You mean like
But each
admissions at
concession stand is for something different.
but
It's not in one general thing, it goes to,
So like
Everybody keeps
admissions
their-
at a basketball game goes into like general admissions with just general activities.
it does, but everybody doesn't share that money in this thing.
No, like that's general athletics.
So,
So there, I mean, all the money's together in
Yeah.
like one account, but then it's distributed amongst who raises and spends and.
So
So kind of give you a little bit of idea, Dan, like the way Cass has got it set up as athletic director, all of the admission fees and that kind of stuff goes in that general account. And out of that, then he pays for each sports necessary, like for basketball, he'll buy the stuff that they have to use every year to do that. He'll buy the basketballs out of that, he'll buy the footballs out of that, he buys baseballs, whatever out of that.
Referees.
okay,
When you want, yeah, then if you are a sport and you want something special that's above and beyond the
okay.
normal business operations, then you have to fundraise and have in your
So
account.
each one of these is separate then. I mean,
Yeah.
the archery is different. They gotta have their own money to go
Yeah.
somewhere. It's all
Yeah.
separate. I thought it was.
You know, so like say if I'm in football, we wanna have a special piece of
Yeah,
equipment,
yeah.
we've gotta fundraise for that kind of thing.
And like some of these, so like these groups can run like a concession.
Mhm.
So if there's baseball game and basketball runs the concession
They
game,
can.
they get 40% of the proceeds and the other 60 goes back into the concessions account to buy products and keep it running. But they can also earn money, raise money by running the concession.
Really?
Like,
So that any one of these can raise money that way as well?
they can run the concession stand and raise money that way.
Okay. That's good, because I see, some of them have a lot more opportunities
Yeah,
than others to be able to do that, to make that money, travel the world, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then just for the new members, you see that the class of 2026 has $5,338.77. Of course, their time is ending. They've spent all their senior trip and pictures and this and that and the other thing. If there's $1 left in that account at the end, then the board in June, remember, will pick where that dollar goes to which account, and then we delete the 26.
okay, that's what I was just wondering. So we decide that in June, what the positive balance is and where it goes.
Mhm.
And that's that question I was just,
And every year they're in those class, like the junior class, the class of 2027, the senior class already gave them money so that there's always starting money so they can pay deposits on prom and stuff like that. That money just keeps getting passed down each year,
Just
so,
don't take it all.
yeah.
Yeah, so just start off.
Okay. And
On the monthly fund report, everything is looking great there. In fact, with revenues in April, we've actually done a lot better. The management fund that we were looking at the end of the year, being deficit, we now might be actually positive. That's great to hear. Sales tax we may even end up with a little more than or quite a bit more that we had from the beginning of the year where we started. Pepple is looking a little better than we thought. We've got quite a few expenses that we're going to be using out of that this summer, as we know. Nutrition, there, we've got, it's end of April, we still have May, but then there's always catch up at the end of the year. So total revenue we've got 78% of that and 72% of the expenditures. Although it shows a deficit right now of about $11,000. Ashley and I talked about it, and I think we'll look a lot better than that at the end of the year. With that being said, I was going to get that for you, but that slipped my mind. Even if we had a deficit of that 11,000 that is showing, that is way less than the last few years that we've done. So switching over has really helped the cost savings.
The deficit on the nutrition, old debt we've heard, been negative carry, we're just working it off.
No, actually, we got a positive balance in there. So it's just a negative of right now, anticipating that at the end of the year, we won't have as much revenue as expenditures. But I think by the time we finish, get the final one, it'll be positive. At that gray line at the bottom there, Seth, 139,000.
Yep.
That is what we had to start the year.
Okay.
And then the 128 is anticipating that will end the year. So we've got a positive balance in there, and that's good.
Oh.
But I'm gonna write that down so I can remember, because I think it's very interesting, of the expenditures, where we look to end this year. We'll get your report compared to the last few years of how much less it's cost us to run the program.
And that money comes out of where then?
Well, that's state and federal dollars comes in, as well as our local. So when Seth pays for lunches for his kids, that's our local part. There's a small part of state that they put towards it, but a majority is that federal that comes in, and has a lot to do with your free and reduced lunch of how much you receive.
Well, we should be in good shape then.
I'm feeling very positive right now.
Good enough.
I hope nothing tops my bubble, but right now we're looking good that way. On the certified budget report, it's key measures report under yours. It's looking really good. We budgeted to have an unspent authorized budget of 31.5%, which is exactly what it was last year. We're projecting to be 29.9, so pretty darn close. Going down to the annual unspent authorized budget, how much of the spending authority that you can spend. As you can see, going back to 21, we only spent 75% of our budget. We could have spent 100, but we only spent 75, 87, 92, 94, 93.1. We anticipated 98.5, and we should finish the year 100.6. So once you have an acceptable UAB, the number we talked about before, then you can start spending up to 100% of your budget. You spend over that, then that UAB starts going down. So then solvency wise, now we're going to talk about cash there. And cash wise, we anticipated being about 30.8%, and we're at 29.8. So we're a percentage off of where we project to be, but it does look good. Why? Now, what we talked about on our budget comes from this document on the bottom there. So where you see instruction, support services, non-instructional, and other, 49 through 52. Notice on the far right that we put 150 in support services to cover our variance there, and 2 million in our other, and we had 1.8 million. So our goal is for those to take care of themselves with our authority to spend in those categories. That's where we get those numbers from. Just didn't make it up. Any other questions? Any questions on bills? I did get to go through the bills pretty well, and I think everything looked good to me. Didn't see anything that needed coded in another category. Yes.
We need a motion to approve.
Need a
this.
motion? Yeah, if there's no more questions.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as listed.
A second?
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, new business. Shelby, you're up.
Okay, so the month of May is all about field trips and kind of winding down the school year. Our second grade went to the Durham Museum, in Omaha on May 6th. Focusing on the pioneer life and Native American life. Fourth grade's taken a couple field trips, to the Nature Center in Sioux City, and then they went to the National Music Museum in, Vermilion. This past Monday, our sixth grade, our SPED director, Kelsey Mason, and I kind of looked over, we finished our ISAS testing, and our sixth grade performance with ELA and math was fantastic. So we treated them to a movie in Omaha, so that was kind of like a little incentive for them. The 13th, we had our spelling bee, which is a tradition. We had switch day, for our students to go to their next year's classroom and teacher and get to know them. This past Friday, it was really nice. It was hot out. We had our Ed Black track and field day. New format this year, transitioning it to a half day. I felt like I got a lot of positive comments from everybody, staff and families. But it's just a great opportunity then for next year, just kind of reflect and see what other small adjustments we can make for tomorrow or for next year for it to be successful. Today we had our Pizza for Pages. That's our TK through third grade program that we have for our kiddos. We celebrated with ice cream and went to the park. We had a lot of kids very successful with that. Amy Wiseman also led our sixth grade walking career fair. That's the first time that we've done this. Students just walked around town to businesses throughout the day. Huge success, and a huge thank you to all the businesses that participated. We had seed sales, farming, Cadillac, Good and Insurance, Triple H, Students just had a really good time asking questions, kind of, and there's a lot of, goodies that they were able to collect through that, so. And then we've got our last day here coming up on Friday, and I think everyone's listening.
I'd like to suggest that next year, if you do the walking thing again, make sure you stop at Bird Construction. You're kind of feeling like you should have been there.
You
Julie
talk to
noted,
the
so we know.
Give them a name.
front office.
Cool. Did you feel left out?
No.
Okay.
Hardly ever there. If you catch me there, it's a surprise.
Yeah, it ended up being a good day for it, so we're just kind of winding down, and yeah, it's been a good year. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelby.
Thanks, Shelby.
All right, Matt, you're up.
Like Shelby said, the 14th, we had move up day. Last week was busy week with awards night, baccalaureate, and then graduation. All went very well. Today and yesterday, we did semester tests, so Thursday and Friday, we will do our May term. Junior high, they're gonna have 10 different stations in the gym, different careers. So they'll have a career fair, and then they'll do service projects in Sloan and Salix, painting the roof of the shelter or the ceiling of the shelter houses, picking up sticks, etc. 9 through 12, they have a service project day, and then they do a field trip day. So some of the items they're doing, a tour at WIT, some of them are going to a taxidermy person, painting murals for Shranks and other businesses, maybe cleaning up in Sloan, Browns Lake, Steiner's Bend. They go to Preparation Canyon, then there's a big group that does fishing trip over at Battle Creek at the pond over there. The girls golf team today qualified for the state tournament next week. Both boys and girls 4x8 teams qualified for track, and Hannah Kruger in the discus. So a lot of things to celebrate, and winding down the year is always a challenge.
Good.
Thanks,
All
man.
right,
Good vote.
all right, Justin.
Well, gearing up for the summer projects, got some list of stuff to do. The older mower that has, $1,500 on, we started this spring having some troubles with it getting hot, had a cracked head in it. So we sent it to Kubota and got a new head put on it, so. There's a big range, 8 HVAC units. We've done 4 at a time. Every summer, we try to do a few extra. Daikin emailed us and let us know there's a price increase coming.
Who did?
Daikin is who we have.
Okay.
And, that price increase is coming along with multiple other companies' price increase because of fuel, the end of May. So, that's the reason you have 8 of them. Whether we do it or not, that's up to you guys, but working on the list of how many more we got. There's been a number floating around of 15. That number was developed back when Bob was here. He was asked to put 15 critical units together. That's where the 15 came from. So, east boiler room, the chiller, it's oversized. Compressor number 2 has a broken rod in the piston rod. Roughly a ballpark is $150,000 to fix it. My suggestion is not to fix it. That compressor, that chiller runs, has four compressors on it. Stage 1 runs, 1 and 3, and 2 and 4 run, and we try to run 2 and 4 on even years, and 1 and 3 on odd years. So we're only using half the capacity. So my suggestion is to use compressor number 4 all summer long when we don't have a real hot heat load, and then use 1 and 3 during the winter. So we'd split it basically, but the chiller's oversized for what we use it for. The plan was, if we ever did the remodel, was to try to split the building and put the high school side on that chiller, which, I mean, when we did do with the bond, we just continued to run the way we currently are, so. Bus 8 and 12, Jay asked me to get a tow truck price. I didn't think it was feasible to tow them to Waterloo to have the codes read. Spent some time working with Sioux City Ford, was able to get 12 fixed. They said it was an evap canister. Took Cody up to bring her home. Just started doing it again.
What was this on?
The bus.
Okay.
It needed plugs and wires. Obviously, 8 was gonna be the same thing. Took 8 up there. 8 did not need an evap canister. It did need plugs and wires. 7.3s on the 750s are famous for plug number 3. The manifold, exhaust manifold melts them, and they need plugs and wires. So both of those buses are back up and running. Klingler's had some issues with the concession stand doors out there. They're just sticking open. You walk in and it just stays open. They've been back a handful of times to try to fix it. Football, yeah.
On the football or what?
Football one, yep.
Okay.
And so they've been back a handful of times to fix it. They were back last week. No, they were back Monday, sorry. They were back Monday, so we haven't used it, so I don't know if they're still
I think
sticking.
they're dragging on the concrete or something.
No, they just, one time you walk through it, it'll shut. The next time it just stays open a half inch. The next time it might stay open 3 fully open.
Sounds like they'll be worried.
I would think that would be a fairly easy fix.
When you look at it,
The doors
you know,
are,
it's kind of,
Well, they're not square or what?
yeah, and they put a continuous hinge on there, which a continuous hinge causes troubles all the time, so. I had Clements and Nora out here to do some, safety issues in the building, so, and I had Scott stop and look at it. And Scott met with Klinger, that's what Scott does for a living, and basically said, hey, here's your guys' issues, so. They're working through them, we'll see how it goes when we go back to using the facilities, so. Other than that, that's all I have for you.
I'll add, unless you have a question.
Ask about that compressor, is that's all one, that's all one chunk?
Yeah, just like that one that,
Yeah.
you repiped
Yeah.
before with
So you
Bob,
just
like
have
that.
to leave that compressor off then.
Yep. We'll just get in there, I mean, we'll have a little bit of cost involved in switching the, controls over, you know, and configuring it so it can't turn on.
So does that need to be in a budget down the road then, that whole lineup of, down the road?
I suppose down the road,
If that first one went, or one went.
but we also have the electric boiler that can be used. So that's kind of the plan, is when compressor 4 can't keep up, the boiler will kick in. But then all winter long, it'll be 1 and 3 that run, and the electric boiler will be the backup for it.
How old are the buses that were doing that?
They're newer.
Yeah, they're newer stuff, I
Can't
don't,
say what year they are.
I think they're out of warranty is what I would say that, I wanna say they were 23s or 24s.
I think they were 23s. We looked it up that day, I think.
I don't know.
So it wasn't warranty work then?
No. So they were at Cornhusker. Cornhusker can't read them because they don't have the programming. So Cornhusker's recommendation was to try something they don't know if it was gonna fix. So Cody talked to school bus sales in Waterloo. Their recommendation was to tow it to Waterloo. So
Yeah, that seems feasible.
I thought if I could spend a little bit of time working with Sioux City Ford, I thought it was kind of worth it. I think.
I mean, was it simple basic maintenance, or you say it was something with the manifold?
Yeah,
It's hot.
the seventh, yeah, if you Google them, and that's what I did, I just Googled the problem we were having, and it's a known problem in the 7.3s. They even said spark plug number 3 wire, check it. And that's exactly what the problem was, so.
Well, pretty minor fix then.
Yeah, I think all said and done, I'm just going on a limb and say the evap canister, was just shy of 700, and I think plugs and wires, and their diagnosis fee was $1,000. And I roughly put a ballpark price, 2,500 to tow it to Waterloo, and then you still had to send somebody over there to get it.
But,
Plus they have to do the work.
Somebody's gonna tow it for 2,500?
That's pretty good.
I could see more.
what's, how much miles on something like that?
I don't know the miles. Like I said, Jay just asked me that, and I just couldn't see, I had to go to Sioux City, so I thought, I'll stop at Sioux City Ford and see what we
So
can.
they're going now and it's done.
Yeah, and Sioux City Ford had to do a little work on their computer to get into it, but, they know how to do it now, and they're willing to work. I mean, we have, I don't know how many gas buses we have, and they're all 4 motors, so, we can drive 7 miles or 14 miles and have them fixed versus going across the state, so.
Going back to the 8 units, the bid that Justin got, received it this morning, too late for this board meeting. But I do have it in there for you under Justin's report. So if you want to look at it right now, the savings to do it in May is $5,600. Yeah, or maybe that's in my email, but
I don't see it.
Yeah, it was 56.
5,600 to do it in May. So, what we received
I asked Brendan
from Brendan.
to get ahold of Dyken about 2 weeks ago, I let Jay know that we were working on this. Dyken got back to him, he got it back to me at 7:15 this morning, and I forwarded the email on at 7:45.
So the goal would be to save that $5,600 if we could do another new meeting next Wednesday. And then, we'll also get, because, Brendan is getting us the current uplist of our HVAC and what's up.
I have the list, I have the map, it's just, when we do them, that's not, the first thing we do is run and update the map, and we don't update the map until somebody tells us. Every time we change a unit, every time we change filters every 6 months, we just write down which one's been a problem child, and that's how we kind of do it. I mean, today, if your unit in Todd's classroom was giving us fits, Todd's old classroom, when I started was a newer unit. It's been replaced since I've been here. It was only 5 years old, but the money we were dumping into it wasn't worth it, so we replaced it. So, I mean, that's, if you're a problem child, and if we're gonna do one next to you, we try to do that one, because they're both kind of in the same, you gotta take the ceiling down.
But you have something to track that.
Yes, yeah.
You've got a map, so this is done in here, here, here.
Mhm.
I'd like to see that.
If it's just not updated, we're working on it.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying you're not, I would like to see it.
Yeah, we want to get that, so, yeah, we're before next Wednesday, but that would be the goal. That
As the place is, you
time and
almost
date.
have to have something there. How would you ever?
You ever been back to my office, Seth?
I don't know, I remember.
The whole wall, every wall in the office is nothing but maps. I mean, there's a map for, if you can dream it, there's a map for it.
There'd have to be.
Yeah.
I would think.
Mhm.
So if that works for everybody's schedule, it'll be a good deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Noon Wednesday.
Noon Wednesday.
All right, anyone? All right, thanks, Justin.
Jay,
Thanks,
you're-
Justin. Thanks,
Okay.
Justin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quickly, gonna go through this as quick as possible. Had a quick school improvement advisory committee meeting tonight. One of the hard things for it is our new assessments that we just took this spring now has 4 levels that the state is judging by, where previously they've always done 3. So anything with the Iowa assessments is not matching up, but we'll working on reading goals and math goals for the FAST assessments. I'm gonna hand this out to the board members that are on that committee and look at having the board approve those this summer. But again, next year, we'll try to get a fall and a spring one going for the committee. We're looking at moving from forecast 5, which are the reports that we've kind of gone over. Ashley and I want to give you a sample of what it would look like if we would use ISPIS reports. And I think they're very handy. I've used them before. We continually go, well, the last couple of years, we've gone to their budget, but also the other one, they call it. 5-year planning model. And we go to that and we've seen really good things from that. So, probably about 15,000 if we make that change. So we've talked about it a little bit before, but we've been working on it off and on, but we're gonna try to get that for you to look at in June. And I sent you mostly out of this information on the main gym roofing, just giving you an idea if we continue to have problems, or if you have problems 8 years down the road or whatever with that gym roof, what it could possibly do to put a metal slanted roof on there and solve that problem forever. 8th graders participating in high school sports. That's a new law that's going into effect this fall. Information there on that link that you have is some things that, questions that we've had, sample possible rules for it. I mean, just kind of trying to figure this out as it goes. There will be Department of Ed rules that come out, hopefully on August 1st, but they've already kind of said it's going to be local control. So you figure it out. With that, Cass and Matt will be meeting with the coaches Tuesday that are in the building to kind of discuss it and just kind of hear everybody's concerns and thoughts about that. It's just a little different than we've done things in the past.
So this is going into effect or?
It is going into effect this fall, yeah.
And that's a state deal, and you said they could do that?
The legislature said thou shalt do this. It was.
But it's up to the local school board to
Yeah.
implement.
Basically, we're allowed to have 8th graders do high school sports, but they don't have to, is that?
You don't have.
And we need to come up with what our guidelines are gonna be for moving an 8th grader up.
And yeah, we've talked about this a little extensively with the conference too. It'd be great to have conference rules.
Yeah.
But then, you have a district such as River Valley and they're sharing, but now maybe they go, well, we might have some 8th graders, do we, so they might want to do it, the conference may not want to do it. There's just a lot to it, and the problem is, honestly, and I think Todd would back me up on this, you can't do it over 2 months. And to come to a consensus on how you're gonna implement it, that we really needed a full year to figure out how everybody in the state is gonna go and make this change, but.
Well, you don't have, like you say, you don't have to implement it now.
No.
This fall.
As a district, we could say, no 8th graders are playing.
But they're,
But,
softball already does, right?
right, baseball and softball already do.
So
some.
really, the only issue you're really looking at is probably football, right, or what? Am I wrong? or-
Football, wrestling, your lower weights, track, they want to.
I mean, wrestling would be a benefit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, could
They just say,
I'm just saying on the little way.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
little way, maybe, I mean, that'd be a good.
I have a older cousin that, teaches and coaches in South Dakota at Rapid City. And they've had the 8th grade participation for years. And I asked them about it way before this, and they say, what do you guys do with your 8th graders? So, for wrestling, if they know the kid's gonna be a varsity wrestler, that because some of those kids, hey, this kid's gonna be a varsity wrestler, they will move them up, otherwise they leave them in junior high. I mean, I don't know if that's the right thing to do or not, but that's kind of,
Football would be the hot topic.
I would think that it would be a rare kid
What's that?
that you would put an 8th grader, you would wanna put an 8th grader in a varsity situation, I would think.
It's all intentional.
But there's where we talked a little bit, if the teams that we were playing said we would play an 8th and 9th grade combination game versus a full JV game where you got your 8th grader going against potentially some juniors, that might be something that
That would help out.
you maybe would consider
Yeah, that's something.
doing a game, playing games like that, but that's where you look at, okay, what's the conference gonna do, what's the teams we're gonna play gonna do,
Yeah.
and are people willing to do that?
Well, you'd have to be split if you got a team that's loaded with big guys on any of that, and then your team has got 8th graders on it, and you go to play them, they're gonna get.
They're gonna,
coached
yeah.
on.
Yeah, that's.
And if I'm an 8th grader that goes, that's playing with a bunch of juniors, I'm saying, I don't know if I really wanna play this sport
You
anymore.
might set it out for a bit.
I think I'll wait till I'm a junior and bigger before I go out for the sport again, we don't
That's
wanna suppress participation, I think that's things that they're gonna have to talk about Tuesday.
Yeah. So more information to come on that. Also more information on girls wrestling. Cass had a sign up. He had 3 8th graders and 3 high school students sign up. And so still working on that. Lunchtime solutions. This is the time of year we get an executive summary. And it's 5 pages, lots of pictures, information about how it's going, all that kind of thing. What we could look at doing what they're doing with the kids and doing little coloring contests and such. So take a look at that when you have a minute. We talk a lot about operational sharing. Right now, it's looking like we'll be able to go to 12 FTE sharing next year. We made some changes with Lott and Bronson. We'll be sharing other business official with them, HR manager, and then with West Monona, we'll be doing curriculum coordinator, and then with the AEA, we do social worker. And there's a possibility, I don't know where this is going, for a career and transition counselor. But what I have for you there is we're gonna sharing those positions, all things we need and have currently within our budget. Will be up to $97,776 coming in for that 12 FTE. So that more than pays for those positions. So that's a huge positive as we stay on that theme. Positives there. You may have heard about the state mandated 35% cap of unspent authorized budget. Okay, I had to curse myself and go into a negative. But everybody has on the upper left-hand side of your desk a sheet of paper there. And I gave mine out. There are no rules yet developed by the state on how they're going to implement this 35%. So ISFIS that I talked about earlier worked on this and came up with an example of what they feel. So if you look at this second to the last row on the right side, all the way to the bottom, $3,989,051. Okay, so that's our approximate end of the year unspent authorized budget. Authority, not dollars, authority. So when you kick that up to the fourth square, do you see that on the last column where it says 3989? That's where it goes to add into this year's budget. And I kind of messed this up, but that brings us to 12,799. And we say, well, we're gonna have, say, $9 million in expenses. And with that 35%, that brings us down to 1.2 million to $1,220,371 of authority. So what would the actual authority be without that? Well, that's there at the bottom, almost 3.8 million. So the state is probably going to take $2.5 million of authority, not dollars, authority for us to spend using this new 35% cap that they're doing.
35% cap on what?
Authority. So our authority to spend, because they're saying all the districts in Iowa have too much authority to spend. You run out of authority, then you have to majorly cut expenses to build that authority back up through a workout plan with the state. So in our case, we have built up our authority, not cash, to that nice number in the almost $4 million range, which took a lot of time and a lot of work. And then they're gonna take it away. So they want everybody starting lower based on their expenditures, and then we have to keep a tighter cap on our expenditures. Make sense? Not really. Why would you do that to your districts? But that's another one. So when you hear about that, you see it in the news, we've got our eye on it. We're still waiting for what the state's actual thing, but if someone in the public asks you about it, you can say it looks like we're gonna lose about $2.5 million in authority that we're able to spend.
What's the difference between?
Or Paul J. Yeah.
What's the difference between authority and having the money? I mean, what's the difference you get, whether you have the authority or you got the money?
You can, in the state of Iowa, you can have the money and not have the authority, and you're not allowed to spend the money.
You can have that state money and
Can't spend it. You may be out of money, your budget may be down to zero, and you may have $2 million in authority, but you have no money to spend. So you have to keep those two balanced. Only state that does finances this way. But that's where we are. Just want to let you know that kind of keep an eye on it, working on it, and go ahead.
when does the state come out with their answers in, or what is it?
Hopefully August 1st.
Is that always, it's always in August when they? these guys-
It's 100 days after the session closes that they're required to. It's not a hard requirement.
No.
If they don't, they don't. Many times they don't have the answers for us. Anyhow, the next one is another depressing one, and that's what the state has done to our SAVE. You may have heard this on the news as well. If you hit that link, it pops up Senate File 2472. They did lengthen the amount of years we get saved, but they're taking save from us and putting that towards property tax relief when we have a bond against our save. So we have to pay X amount of money for a save that they're cutting our funds. And this kind of shows you approximately what they'll be cut. Like next year, it'll be 0. The year after that will probably be cut 32,000, then 50,000, then 68,000, then 100,000, and then after that 123,000 for the rest of the term, which all that comes up to a little about $2.6 million that they'll effectively take from what we would have received in save and put that towards property tax relief, but we can't use it for paying the bills that we need to use it for. Debbie Downer, I know.
That's a lot of money. To try to figure out what you're gonna do.
Yes, it is. And when you're
So what do you do?
indebted to it. That. So, I mean, we did not bond against our total save. So we're better off than a lot of people. So we still had money there, so we could spend that on save. And so we should be able to have no problem paying back. It's just, we won't have that, down the road when it's 123,000 that year. We're minus that to spend towards our save expenses. Crazy.
That's past and done and gonna happen.
Past done, and
I heard somebody was telling me about that a couple days ago. I wasn't quite sure what it was.
yeah, those have been signed by the governor. There's quite a few that haven't been signed that we're still waiting for. They all probably will be, so I've already started working on other handbook changes and stuff like that. A lot of change. I'm ready for resignations if you are.
All right.
Move on to contracts.
Resignations. Got 3 of them.
Yes, we had 3 of them. The last one is elementary para, moved back to her home state this spring, so. Just motion to approve the resignations.
So you got somebody to replace in your school bus deal then?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do we need to do them individually, or can we do them?
I believe these you can do together as one.
I'll make a motion to approve the resignations of Cody Sampson, Heather Collins, and Shannon Now.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, hiring.
Okay, the first one, we'll do these individually. Hiring Grady Butters as a Strat 2 special education teacher.
I move that we approve the contract from Brady Butters for the Strat 2 special education teacher.
Second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Second one is current assistant girls basketball coach Nora Castning as head girls basketball coach for next year.
Where is she from?
Oak Point, Jefferson. She played basketball at Briar Cliff, and then she's gonna student teach here next fall as a secondary math and then special ed and elementary.
And she was assistant this year, right?
Yeah.
Did she just graduate or?
She will next December, because she still has to student teach.
he's gonna have a full fall of student teaching.
How did she land here? I'm just curious.
Some of our girls that played knew her from, she was a travel team coach.
Well, like,
Yeah. I think so.
Everything counts. He's been helping out with the junior high track too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
She's willing to help out in a lot of areas, and you just don't get people like that anymore.
Not that it has anything different with approving her, but do we have anybody if she moves up as the head, do we have anybody?
Couple names floating around
Okay,
for assistant.
I guess not that it doesn't change it. I would motion to approve the contract for Nora as the head girls basketball coach.
Second that.
All right, I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
As I communicated with you, we've had 3 people that we interviewed for transportation director, a couple other applicants that never got their stuff in or decided not to pursue. On top of our list was William Billy Malawski. He lives in Ottawa and has been a semi-truck driver all of his life, so he really wants to be a part of a team, be a part of the school. His wife teaches in Whiting.
He's gonna be able to manage that school bus route and the whole schmear.
I mean, there's a day that we would love the fact that he wouldn't have to drive a bus route. He just manage the fleet, but we'll see if that happens.
Is he the only one, is he the only one left to hire, this guy? William? Or how many, this is, how many people applied for it? 3?
We
And they all backed
interviewed
out
3.
again?
We interviewed 3 and we picked him.
he's got mechanical background, I mean, or he.
Yeah,
He's gonna do some of this stuff?
he's gonna do some of the stuff, yeah. Yeah, he's done his own rig for many years.
He's gotta
Now,
manage.
school bus is a little different than the semi, but
Right, but it's.
there's gonna be a learning curve, no doubt.
They've got to manage people, that's gonna be, I'm sure you can run a crescent ranch where you can, handle people, that's the next one. Transportation guy. Yeah,
Just out of curiosity, I don't know if we can even do it at this point, but did I hear that Maple Valley's transportation director resigned too? Any chance with that sharing deals that we could maybe convince them to share ours and get state money for that?
There is a possibility for that.
Is that worth looking into? And
you mean share theirs with us?
theirs resigned, so they got an opening too.
Share ours.
So if we shared ours with theirs, then we can maybe get some of the state sharing dollars.
We better get this guy accustomed to our stuff before he.
That's
starts
right,
doing it.
that was the one thing that was like, okay, I don't know how, at this point, it might be a little, maybe, might be.
Yeah, you better, before you give him away, you better make sure he's working here.
Throw it
Yeah.
out to. See what, and I figure, it kind of figures since we're hiring him tonight, we may not have that boat may have sailed, so to speak, in trying to do anything anymore.
We can work on that.
Call Jeff, see what he says.
We got a guy.
You gotta vote on this way tonight.
Yes.
You feel good about him,
Yes, I do.
you can take care of a lot of stuff.
And the scheduling.
He's gonna do what Cody did along with,
Has anybody been talking, training him now to what's got to be done? Cody been working with him at all?
No, right now he has been working on his endorsements for school bus. And then he would be starting June 1st, and then we'll start working on all that on the 1st of June.
Well, might be pretty good timing to train him into what he's gotta do.
Yeah,
I mean, you're coming in the summer, right?
Yeah, I sent him the dates on the transportation conference this summer, and he said that's clear. His daughter's getting married this summer, that was the only fear he had, but it's along different times, so he's fine, he's excited.
He just has to sign the checks, it's not, the daughter's getting married, is not a problem. And if your wife signs a check, you would have to do that.
Well, we need a
I move that we approve the contract for the transportation director, I'm gonna say his name, if I say it, so,
Just say.
for Billy.
Try it, just say it.
Just for fun.
Malazowski,
Something ski.
Malazowski.
Yeah.
All right, need a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right.
Hayden Summerfield is moving back into town and back, I saw he just brought in a load this afternoon, moving back to Sloan, and, he really would like to do bus driving for us. It fits in his schedule perfect. He's excited about it and started working on his CDL, or because he has no CDL or anything, so it's
This is somebody you
starting
know, or
at the beginning.
He's,
He's from here, yeah.
He's a former student.
how old is he? Just curious, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mid-30?
I was an 18 grad.
I can say, they all seem like they've been out 2 or 3 years from him.
No?
Late
Well, you better not
20s.
turn him down if he wants to drive a school bus.
yeah. All right, we get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for Hayden Summerfield as a bus driver, pending his license, I guess.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, wait, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, consideration of the increase of school meals.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm gonna start off, while we were talking about something else. I had mentioned that as of this April, in the nutrition, we had spent $357,000, and that was less than the last few years. Going back to 25, our expenditures or the end of April were $441,289, that's $84,000 more. And in 24, it was $513,000, which is $156,000 more than we spent this year. So us using this nutrition company has helped our expenditures. And I wanted to say that because when people hear that you're raising the meal costs, they say, well, that company's making too much money. Well, that company's helping us save money in reality. The Department of Ed allows you to raise your lunch prices any way you want if you have a positive balance. If you have a negative balance, then you have to use their formula to increase them. And the reason being is a lot of schools like to keep their school lunches really low, and then they go into debt, and then the state says, well, then you gotta jump them, and then you're paying $1 more a lunch, and then people really don't like that. So you try to be incremental about it, so you still have a positive balance, but it's not huge, but you're able to manage your anything that happens in that department. So the nutrition department said that there's 4.1% cost of living increase that we could utilize. And so that's kind of what I used here as a recommendation. If you press that meal meal prices link. That will take you to a document I made that tells you all of our meal prices and what it looks like. You have links to all of our a la carte pricing. This is all on our website. And recommendations for our changes in the lunch program. So going from $2 for breakfast to $2.10. Elementary lunch from $2.80 to $2.90. And then high school lunch, $2.95 to $3.05. It can be a little more. If so decided, it can be less, depending on the board. We've had a difficult time getting other districts to respond. All the districts have been asking about lunch prices. So I've got down ones that have responded and ones that I've gone to their website and found. There's a lot of schools that don't post their lunch prices on their website. And so kind of to give you a feeling for that, our meal prices are in the range there. You know, so we're asking like $3.05, $3.10 for a high school lunch, and you know, River Valley's at $3.50 for lunch for elementary.
We raised this last year, I thought.
Yeah.
We raised it last year.
Yeah,
That's where it's supposed to be.
and Sioux City, a full price lunch in Sioux City is $4.35 compared to
Why is this so much higher?
us. Why are theirs?
Yeah.
Could be the amount of workers they need to do all that. They transport all their meals out of one factory,
Right.
one bakery, whatever you want to call it. And they transfer it all out, so they get transportation costs on top of that. And
So if this company is saving us money, we're wanting to raise it.
yes, because we know.
Do you think it's gonna happen anyway here?
Yeah, now in our contract, each year, there are prices to them go up by a cost of living factor, which is obvious, you know. We see at the grocery store prices going up. So that is built in, and so we have to incrementally also
So
put ours up.
no matter what it increases every year, they build the cost of living, even if, let's say cost of living doesn't go up. Which is not, yeah, I mean, well, nevertheless.
What world are you living in?
Well, yeah, I know.
No,
But-
but sometimes you have to quit. I mean, or what?
I'd have to look on that for the farther years out. I know in the beginning that it does the first few years, sure.
How many debt, or what debt is it unpaid lunch we have as far as?
You know, very minimal. This year, we had record number of donations into the school to pay off lunch balances. And most of our lunch balances are the unpaid lunches, honestly, is not for lunches, it's for the a la carte, the extra stuff. There are some families that may not get free and reduced lunch, and then they are struggling.
So what,
But we've been able to use that money we've received, and we've received a lot this year to help pay that off.
the free and reduced is as high as people are paying for it, isn't it? I mean, the people that are paying full price versus the free and reduced, what's that ratio? I mean, don't you have
Well, we're
a lot?
We're about, off the top of my head, as a district-wide, 36% free reduced lunch. But the people paying for lunch are not paying for theirs. The federal government is. And the higher your percentage is, the more money you get for your lunch program. So
Higher percentage of what?
free and reduced lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The higher the percentage, the more money.
Yeah. So you,
Well, if you keep raising it, you'll have a lot more. If you raise it.
I guess not to put you on the spot, but Shelby, do you like
Right.
feedback, right? The overall feedback about the meals and lunch and breakfast?
I mean, honestly, I help serve a lot of the salad bar, I guess you could say, for the little kids when they come through, but there's kids that are coming up and getting seconds. I know, like I've talked about at the beginning of the year, change is hard for people. And so I think that was an adjustment in itself, but I mean, I have not heard a lot of complaining. I mean, I think as far as the complaints that I heard in the beginning was just, you know, maybe they didn't know the kids, so it was taking forever to get them through the line, but as far as like the food, like I personally really don't have a lunch time set. So I just bring my own stuff, but I mean, it always smells good. I see a lot of the elementary teachers getting lunches, so.
Are you talking about the price, your opinion, or?
No, that's what I'm complaining about, but no.
I just
Matt,
think we're at a point two though, you know, where would you go from here then?
That's
you
what
know,
I was thinking.
You know, like, I just think we're getting to, yeah.
well, yeah, I'm just,
You don't need to raise it, don't raise it, but, I mean, where's it gonna quit, I don't know. But, because you got so many that are on the free and reduced anyway. Not as far as comparing to what other districts are, as far as that, I don't know if that's related to it either. Comparing other schools to ours.
yeah.
You gotta have some, you gotta have some, yeah, you gotta have some benchmark, but, you know.
You know, and I've even said as a benchmark, and it's not a good benchmark.
Yeah.
But a Happy Meal's $5.35.
Well, yeah, well,
Well,
You
You know,
can get it for $5.35?
well, I think, I looked it up, and I swear that's what I saw.
Oh, I know, that made, that's not big.
tell Lucas that.
this probably isn't right to say either too, but go watch how many kids walk in the morning with a $7 or $8
I,
drink,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they don't wanna pay $2 for breakfast because it's too much, but you can buy an $8 drink to down here and bring it in. I'm sorry, I should get on my soapbox in that one, but
Like that, the CD side,
I know, that's,
coffee side too down the street.
Yeah.
it's all high.
What do you think that is by the pound? What do you think Doritos cost by the pound?
Mhm. Yeah.
Figure
I think that-
That's, yeah, you know, yeah, we're,
Last Saturday, I think it was, I did the Midwestern breakfast and got my breakfast pizza, pops, and a donut at Casey's. I think it was $7.
oh, there's no doubt about it.
I guess bottom line, I don't think we're out of line with $2.10 for breakfast. Lunch being, $2.90 and $3.05 or whatever it is. I don't think we're out of line on that raise. I also don't have kids that I'm paying for either, so.
that's right, I'm getting some money.
it. If say it wouldn't raise, is that gonna hurt us then, or what do you? And you, I don't,
Well,
if we wouldn't, if it stayed the same, what's it gonna do?
you're gonna raise it somehow. That kind of what I was talking about earlier. You're gonna raise it now a little bit, or you're gonna raise it a lot.
So how much did it raise last year then? Do you remember?
I'd have to look it up.
I'm just curious, how much that was last year?
Yeah.
But how much is getting a kid started for books and all that stuff? How much is that gonna go up this year?
We haven't increased that since I came here. The book fee is
Well, I mean,
$50.
Register your kids and you pay this much for all this, is that, again, that's gone up too, or? is that the same?
We haven't raised that in 12 years.
So would you anticipate this raise now, but you wouldn't, and you'll have another raise like this next year, do you think, or? I mean, if you were to guess, if you're talking the cost of living?
It depends what finances look like, but I think you're gonna have small. I mean, I suggest probably a small one. There was a lot of years we had a very big positive balance due to COVID.
Right.
And all the districts had a surplus, and so we did raise, and, we gave free lunch and breakfast for a year, free breakfast for 3 more years after that. Something like, I can't
So
remember.
if you don't raise it 4%
exactly,
now, you're thinking it's gonna have to go up 8% next year?
I hope not.
Who knows, really? I mean, nobody really knows how much
No.
it's gonna go up. Could, like down. They don't.
I would like to see that, think positive.
Because the parents got enough to complain about school prices going up too. But if that's what it needs to be.
So if you eat breakfast and lunch, you're talking about roughly 20 cents a day. Correct, 210?
Yeah.
If you able,
Yeah,
20 cents.
well, it cost $40 to drive to Merrimack yesterday, I suppose anybody would like baseball, so I guess that would be much. Increase this. Okay.
I mean,
It's just something you're gonna have to assess every
I
year.
understand what you're doing.
Okay.
I'll keep looking, but I don't see that we increased it last year. We
Okay,
increased
well,
activity
something we
fees.
Okay,
Okay,
Yeah,
and I don't know, so I just.
So, yeah.
I said it.
okay.
but I'll look and I'll let you know.
Okay, well, it's. Good. You got it?
I'm okay with these prices. I'll make a motion to approve the breakfast to be $2.10, elementary lunch to $2.95, high school lunch to $3.10.
Big O said, make a motion.
I'll second that. I'm gonna need to know.
I'm just waiting to give everyone else a chance for a second. I was writing down what you said.
I've done my motion.
Is that a motion? Is that a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, consideration of literacy and math curriculum coordinator agreement.
Yep, continuing with what we did last year this year with West Monona on literacy and math. It's gone very well. We have an end of the year meeting on Thursday next week to recap and plan for next year. So I'd like to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the fiscal year 27 literacy and math curriculum coordinator agreements.
I'll second
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. All right, consideration of bus driver incentives. You skip one?
Need to skip one.
Dinner? So you guys are paying
Lock
attention.
and Sorry.
Consideration operational sharing with Ron Bronson on HR.
Okay, so continuing with the HR, in the past, we've done curriculum director. That curriculum director position will move to other business, allowing us to capture 4 more FTE, and curriculum director will come from West Monona. So, utilizing the same people and getting more money from the state on that. So win-win here.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with Von Bronson for operational sharing of HR and other business.
I'll second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, now we're doing the
it.
consideration of
That's
bus
Dennis Ranky.
incentives.
They go up. They go up.
Or,
Dennis, yeah.
well, yeah, he is.
Or Dennis, or Dennis Long.
Yep.
So it's been 3 years since we've increased the new bus driver incentive. When we do this, a new bus driver coming in, such as Haven, would be eligible for $4,000 hiring incentive, receives $1,000 a year, $500 in the winter, $500 in the summer, for 4 years. And then all of our current drivers who have been drivers will be eligible for that extra $1,000 and help keep them around. The substitute bus pool, I was reading this over and I went, okay, so if we have someone, we didn't have anyone this year, but in past years, we've had one person that took advantage and would drive over 9 times, they'd get a $2,500 stipend. I thought, well, I know that person 1 year drove more than that. Maybe we need a second stipend. So at 20 routes, they get another $1,000 on top of that. And then the coach driving pay that we started in 2019, that was brought in from another district. Andy Scott brought that in from his former district. So certified coaches that driving their sport, they can drive back and forth and get 51 cents per mile. Since he was coaching here, no one's taken on that, so I thought maybe we increase that to 65 cents a mile. And figured out on like 100 mile to go to an event and 100 miles back. No, 50 miles there, 50 miles back, 100 miles total. It would be probably a little less at 65 cents than what someone would get paid an hourly amount for being there. But the coach is gonna be there, but this is not double dipping, it's just driving there, driving back.
What do we pay for a bus driver
It's an hourly rate.
what is that rate?
Oh, it's 20 something. I'll have to look.
So the double dipping thing, I'd like to understand better. I mean,
So if you're paying them hourly, it could be considered double dipping because they're coaching. So they're coaching at their sport. So this is their sport. So I'm coaching baseball and I drove the kids in a bus. I have my CDL and bus driver. So I get mileage for driving there. That's my drive time. And I get my coaching pay while I'm there. As opposed to how someone that is not a coach is driving, getting an hourly, they get an hourly for driving, they get an hourly for sitting and watching.
okay, well, I guess one thing is like, we're not getting a whole lot of them, right? As you said, nobody's taking them. I mean, since it's not costing the district anymore, would the double dipping, you say, be a good incentive for coach? I mean,
Well, it would be against your state and federal
so we commit.
pay and wage, whatever.
Except volunteer now.
What do we do if there's like say a high school teacher that wants to drive a bus route?
And he's not in that sport.
No, I'm just saying like if you wanna drive it, if I was a high school teacher, I'm teaching math. And I said, hey, you know what, I'll get my bus license and I'll drive around in the morning. Will we not pay them for driving the bus because they would be at 7:45, they're on their teaching time.
They would not be, they would be excused from that teaching time.
So like when you drive, you get paid for driving.
When I was a teacher,
Uh-huh.
classroom teacher, I drove a route. So I was paid for that route. And then I got off the route and I walked into my classroom and that's when my teaching salary kicked in. And they did that because 33 years ago, they couldn't get bus drivers.
Yeah, well, and I don't know how you've anybody interested, but I think we need to consider. I've had a couple guys say, I would consider getting my CDL and driving, but like our normal trip of a 30-mile trip over to Mobile and back is $37 for them. It's like, for $37, I don't know that I really want to get my.
Yeah, that's, I mean,
Activity rate, like to drive an activity, is $22.40 an
No,
hour.
So if we leave it 3 and get back at 10, that's 7 hours. We're paying them, $150, and we're paying the coach $37.
yeah, it does seem
yeah.
like.
If I'm going, and I say I don't want to do it.
Yeah, why would you drive, yeah.
I'd be like, well, I'm not going to drive for $37 when.
And of course, we would want, I mean, like the pool of regular drivers, if they want to do it, but like
Yeah.
a secondary option. I mean, just to make it a little more enticing, because it's really not costing the district more.
No, no.
So, but it,
So you
if it's
just
not,
increase them per mile.
yeah.
I mean,
And we would try
with this scenario.
maybe try to increase it to a point where they're a little closer to
Okay.
what they're getting paid as an hourly one. You might get more. Right now, nobody's doing it, so we're not taking
I don't think
that.
It does, so for like CDL and stuff for the classes and like, do we pay for that? And would we pay for that for the coaches?
Yeah,
Isn't this something your transportation director ought to be part of? So, he's the guy running these guys.
yeah, it's old stuff. I mean, this is,
Is he gonna be involved with this part of it then at all? I mean,
sure,
I mean,
sure.
if he's gonna run these people, or not run them, but steer them, I guess, he's part of this deal. But I don't,
So you got a
he's gotta understand all that stuff. too.
per mile thought?
Let's do some math.
Do some figuring here, Mr. Reader.
Well, again, I was kind of thinking like, most of our trips, when you think, okay, we go to Ottawa, Mobile, they're, we're 40, let's say we average a 40-mile trip. If you want $1 a mile, that would be $80 for the trip, then you'd be paying a coach versus 100 and, even just thinking, like a track meet, we leave at 2:30, we get back at 10:30, it's a 7 or 8 hour, day all the time, that's, if you're paying them $20
Right,
an
but
hour,
I
that's,
think on top of their coaching, so I mean, they're gonna be there anyways.
yeah,
You should just
But
put
to
it,
make it a little more worth it, yeah.
make it a little more worth their effort and time, but like I say, we're still saving, if the coach does it, we're still saving, it's half price. Cause we're still paying a coach.
Yeah, and it's not like this isn't a need, I think it's a need, I mean, because.
It's a need.
Yeah, definitely.
it should be just, if you're driving a bus, it's this much. I mean, if you're gonna split hairs, it makes it complicated. If you drive a bus, sit in the seat, you drive kids, it's cost, this is what you make. Instead of trying to
But
split.
the difference of it is, if you're a coach, you're gonna be there for that time of the event,
Okay,
whether you drove the bus or not. Where if you're the bus driver, you have to sit through that event and wait till you leave, I guess is what the
I
difference
see,
is.
yeah, well. That's okay,
No, I'm just explaining that.
yeah. I see that. Got it, yeah.
I don't know what
Whatever you say.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like what Todd came up with.
I guess I would move that we increase if a coach is driving pay to $1 a mile to, how you ever, what do you say? The incentive for the coaching driving while doing their sport to go to $1, increase to $1 a mile over the 51 cents per mile.
I think so.
Do you want the other?
He's got
Two
more in
things
there
too?
against that.
Oh, and the other parts? Yeah,
So, no,
okay.
that if you want that, then the motion to approve the bus driver's assist incentives as listed with coach driving pay at $1 per mile.
There you go.
There.
And-
Right. Right.
Was that your intention?
Because they
Yeah.
get.
Yeah, I think we need to look at those other incentives.
Yeah, I should at least do that, man.
Okay.
Get him to do it. I'd say.
Yeah.
Give him
So we got a motion?
In a second.
I'll second that.
There we go. Seth's got a
Todd
second.
and
We got a motion and a second.
And you wanna
So,
brief, you wanna
motion to
brief up
approve
like
bus
that
driver
now?
incentive.
How much you wanna bet we do?
I take that back.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
Matt. That's right.
So
That coach's meeting,
That one, just $1 inside.
please tell them, Todd said you're gonna jump at this.
You're knocking down the doors.
I'm gonna say, I don't know if we get any more, but we got a better chance.
Well, if it wasn't for that.
Just tell them it's only gonna go down from here, so.
So we're getting the incentive that's listed, increasing mileage to $1.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna step out with the restroom.
We'll start this and catch Seth up. Consideration to increase and issue classified staff.
so the recommendation was to do $1 for secretaries and paraprofessionals with a 6.2% increase for transportation. This is exactly the same as we did last year. When we looked at it, a 3.1, which is kind of a standard that at our district that we've looked at, on a $16, it's 50 cents. So giving $1 basically is that 6.2 for everybody. It's easier to say, easier for people to understand that they're getting $1 an hour, they're not getting 6.2. Bus routes are paid per the route and not, there's an hourly attachment to them, but they're paid by the route. So it's easier to go for the 6.2 and it works out about the same. With the consideration of that, it's for $1, it's about 36,000 for secretaries and paras, 14,921 custodians, and your transportation department around 12,110.
Transportation department, meaning all the bus drivers,
Bus drivers, bird drivers,
are they the same? Do they get paid, bird drivers and bus drivers, they pay the same? They're not paid the same?
not paid the same. Bird drivers do not have a CDL and they're hourly.
I get
Yeah,
it.
bird drivers would get the hourly rate.
They get the hourly rate. Yeah.
So then with the $1 increase, so everybody who's currently here would get $1, but the starting rate would only go up 50 cents. So the starting rate right now for a para is $15.50. The starting, so like somebody who started here this year getting $15.50 as a para, they would go to $16.50. A new para would start at 16, so that way you can differentiate the starting.
So then,
Keep that separate.
second years.
Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah,
No, I don't know.
No,
Okay,
yeah,
you can
and
repeat
so
that.
then there is-
Okay, we're with the-
you know, because then I'll quit rehiring me, so like.
Okay.
Yeah, so the starting rate's different.
You guys are in the mix of this stuff. Okay. All right. We just here on once a month. Okay. All right.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the $1 per hour increase for secretaries and paraprofessionals and a 6.2% increase for transportation and issue contracts.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. All right, let's go to considerations for administrative pay increase and teacher contracts.
Okay, so I've got that document there for you. Pop open.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna have to open it again because I lost it. Okay, so 3.1% was what we did last year. That's based off like 3 years ago, a teacher agreement, and the board approved it then. So I did a little up, a little down, kind of show you the cost differences in that. So the other thing is, we got everybody, or well, Justin and Ashley, we got them at 11,000 for insurance, and then adjusting for that compared to in district or in lieu to increase it $1,000 to 12,000. So we have that in there too. So, so we've got a total for that 3.1, the same as last year, 22,000. 3.6 is 24,000. 2.5 is 19. 2% is 16,500. Just kind of to show you and to look that over.
Did we get 3% more on our, from the government, this deal, this, if this goes up, or all these other salaries go up, did our money from the state go up too? To pay for this, these increases?
No. Kind of what we went through before that, we got that 2% and then decrease in enrollment, so that was down, previous board meeting, I shared that. What was that? Anybody remember? So.
So what are you thinking, Dan? Are you thinking,
Well, this is
if the state
when-
gave us
when we
2%,
do all
take
this stuff.
2%?
Well, yeah, but when we do all this stuff, we gotta have, in any business, you're gonna have to, if you got it going out, you gotta have something coming in. If this goes out and this don't come in, then balance, and it just keep, especially on payroll.
What percentage were you looking for the,
Well, last year we went 3.1%.
let's do that.
That's,
What are you thinking now?
Well,
that's a.
That's the rest
That's
of
up
the
to you.
time.
I didn't know what
Yep.
you were thinking,
Yep.
is what I'm saying.
I'm thinking 3.1, what do you think?
I'm thinking 5.5.
Okay.
I want,
I figured.
I want his raise.
Yeah, if you're gonna wish, you just, well, wish I, huh?
yeah,
And then take.
No. Good question, Seth.
Well, I mean,
And I
I
kind of
think-
put this in an email, but maybe not worded correctly. What traditionally has happened, small schools, but Westwood being one of them, is what you, generally speaking, depending on circumstances, but they take what the teacher agreement is and then they go that with administration, they do that with support staff, your classified staff that we just voted on. You kind of keep it all the same. The world's changed, you know, and when I came here, I think it was $7.25 for a class, for a para starting wage when I came here 12 years ago. So, and now we're going to be 16. Yeah, she said 16 next year. So, you know, we're really putting some dollars behind that to try to keep our staff. And so it's not always going to be the same as what the teachers get. And I think we chose 3.1, the board, not me, because that was a previous settlement with the staff, because there's no good comparison to the staff the last few years, because we've had this change by the governor and the legislature to increase TSS. And you've heard us talk about jumping all new salaries to 50,000, and then with 12 years of experience, their minimum of 62. So that money has come into the districts to bump up teacher salaries. So 2 years ago, the actual negotiated raise with the teachers was like 22%. Well, that's when we did 3%, but it was different, because it's not the same thing. Because those dollars are coming for the state to get these salaries up to certain levels. So we didn't have anything to go by, or I should keep saying we, the board didn't have anything to go by, so we used a prior settlement of 3.1. And this year, the teacher raise, and it's again different. It was 5.24%. Certainly, that's not what we want, and it's just different because the circumstances beyond our control, and we don't have anything to go by, so we're kind of rudderless. Except that's where the 3.1 comes in from 3 years ago. So
That's when Kim Reynolds changed all the teacher salary. I don't remember reading that. Huh?
He missed the first part.
Okay, well, that sort of changed the whole salary, teacher salary thing.
Structure.
That's what he's talking about.
yeah,
I don't,
I mean, I'm fine with 3.1.
See, 3.1, I looked at the, cost of living change, and that's pretty much in line with cost of living right now.
Yeah.
You gotta, your inflation rate and your cost of living is about three, depending on where you're at, 3 or a little more, 3 or a little less. Yeah, that's probably pretty close to that kind of situation.
well, yeah,
Does everybody think that's, sounds right?
well, I don't,
And,
that cost of living thing, I've always been mixed on that deal, because not everybody gets that raise. I mean, when you say you guys get a cost of living raise, well, not everybody gets that cost of living. I never have been a
Like I
fan of
said,
that phrase. I get a cost of living raise because everything goes up, and then, but not every, it's only a few that get to go up here.
Yeah.
Dang few, so.
I mean, my wife got a 1.25% raise, and that's what everybody at the cancer center got this year,
Is it what?
1.25.
Well, I mean, everybody like a cost of living raise.
They do.
If everybody got a cost of living raise, we'd
So,
have to worry about inflation.
I didn't get much of a raise this year, but my wife didn't get much of a raise. She's not giving me as much.
And my social security, that didn't go up 3.5%. Anyway, I'm just kidding, whatever you guys say. Yeah, we gotta keep, and then you gotta keep good people too, right?
Yeah,
I mean, you gotta, I mean, I know all that, I know all that.
That's my feeling is about, I mean,
You gotta keep
honestly,
good
if I
people,
didn't get
just whether it's a-
3.1%. I mean, I know they're just different circumstances, but I'm comfortable with 3.1.
Is that what the teachers got then?
They got
Oh,
more.
okay.
5.24,
Yeah.
I think it was.
And it looks, and we just increased the other ones by 6.2.
Okay.
6.2.
When you say that, there's a little bit, because I asked Matt too, a little bit as far as for the pairs and things like that, it's how many hours a year do they get in? I looked at the standard, if you work 50 hours or 50 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, that's $2,000, you get $1 a raise every $2,000 a year, but as a pair, you're not getting 2,000 hours in.
Yeah.
So you're not getting near that. Their raise sounds bigger than what it is, maybe a little bit to somebody.
Well, that's another thing too, when you do that percent, a guy's making $10 an hour gets this much, and a guy making 20
then takes bigger percent.
Gets double that.
Yeah. And, I mean, in all honesty, I'm not trying to make me feel better, but with that, going from 11,000 to 12,000, that extra $1,000 in insurance is a 1% of $100,000. So you add 1% on top of, we really just 3.1 in a way, they give you 4.1, but I'm not. I think 3.1. I guess I would make a motion that we give a 3.1% increase to the salaries of the administration
And then the cash.
The increase in,
and then increase the insurance in lieu or the,
I got it written in there.
okay. I don't know,
If you want that,
if I want to read it,
Yep.
motion to approve the, that's not right. I'm on the wrong one. Where is mine?
Consideration for
administrative.
I clicked on the wrong one.
Read it just how it is, just add.
Motion to approve 3.1% administrative pay increase cash in lieu by $1,000 for non-insurance, all full-time year-round employees without district insurance and issue contracts.
I will second that motion.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passed. All right, let's do the consideration of amending the fiscal year 2026 school budget.
talked about in the hearing, so this is an easy one.
And make a motion to approve motion to amend the fiscal year 2026 school budget.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. All right, consideration to use classroom clinic for fiscal year 2027.
This is gonna be even easier. The license fee for Classroom Clinic is $27,900. Third year in a row, they will get it to us free. We have quite a few students, almost 20 students using these therapies online. Good program for us.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of the classroom clinic for fiscal year 27.
Oh, second that.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, resolution for the 2026 Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan for Cherokee, Item, Plymouth, and Woodbury counties.
And this,
I know you read through it, very exciting. It includes districts, cities, and everything within those counties, and we work with them to get our information in there, and we proved it, and it meets our level of stuff.
So we're good to go.
We're good to go. All we need is a motion to approve the resolution.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the resolution of the 2026 Regional Hazard Mitigation Plan for Cherokee, Item, Winona, Plymouth, and Woodbury counties.
I'll second that.
This one's all you.
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes.
This me?
Yeah, this is you, your favorite.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at, time is it?
8:50.
52 if you keep waiting.
8:50. On 5:20.
Second.
All right, got a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion adjourned.
All right, we got some signing.
I guess not, get that one quick.
Yeah, probably not.
This,
So you sign?
this.
Sorry.
Regional mitigation. Plan.
President's.
I had to do a letter.
All right.
Initial here, classroom clinic.
Actually, so we all this.
Wow, hang title.
What, I don't know, I think you could take it if you want, or you can even when you want to.
You and I have been.
Um, I gotta go find out the
Right?
contract for,
Can't pay up to you too much.
Right.
That's-
Yeah, you
that's-
gotta- you gotta keep it going.
That's sort of-
I think so. Oh, it's still recorded. Thanks for reminding me. I wanted to get them to sign.
We gotta.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ashley's
Thank you.
passing out your,
Yeah.
it's board member appreciation.
It's great.
Oh, thank you. Really? Yeah. I would think so. You would think they'd have.
Yeah, we don't. All right.
Yeah, you'll get ready.